On this week's episode of the Super Chevy Bros Podcast, the gang goes over the Nintendo Direct's best announcements. Biko quizzes Chevar on his Metroid knowledge. Mom skips the movie review and gets real. And Chevar tells a fabulous story about a hypothetical Elden Ring DLC playthrough he wishes were real. Turn off the lights, shut the blinds, open that new bottle of lotion, and crank it. I'm talking about your speakers, you degenerate. It's time for the Super Chevy Bros Podcast.
Welcome to Super Chevy Brothers Podcast. Today is June 23rd. We are past Juneteenth. We've hit the milestone of past Juneteenth. How was or all the teenths of June, actually. We've passed all the teenths. And that's where we are now. How was your teenth?
Great.
Wow, and exhilarating podcasting content there, Mom.
What'd you do?
I spent Juneteenth fixing a white lady's car.
Oh, jeez.
I also,
You know what side of the aisle you're on.
Also, didn't do anything really. Just play a lot of Street Fighter. What else am I supposed to do? It's my day. White people can't tell me what to do. But yeah, I just play a lot of Street Fighter.
It was a day of freedom. I was free to go to the dentist, where she did lots of work.
I have to go to work the next day.
Well, I went to work on the day because we're still not free here. My company's pretty slick, all right? I'll tell you that. They think they're slick. I don't know. I'm too educated for this job. they think they're slick. You know, they do that. So what they do, I'm going to hear this at some point. But
let's hear it.
What they do is instead of... So we work for different peoples, okay? We have a contract with that group of peoples observes every national holiday, just about, almost every national holiday. So when they're doing that, there's work percentage drops by like 99%. But they're getting like 12 to 16 billion dollars for this or something, and they want to keep every penny. So instead of giving people a day off, instead they'll make everyone go to work and then say, "Oh, who wants to leave early? You know, it's pretty slow today. Who wants to leave early? Didn't think it'd be so slow this day, but who wants to leave early?" And they do that for the holidays that are like maybe people forget about, like Memorial Day or something. I don't know, Juneteenth, one of them. And so they do that so that they can get their contract money and then not pay employees any money because they take the day off. And then so on this day, they let off 90% of the staff to go home like they had a free day off, but it was just they just don't get paid. And then they get to charge the people we work for a whole day, and they only have to pay like one person, two people for working that day. So those are some slick
contractors.
Yeah, well, how it is.
Capitalism at its finest.
What'd you do for Juneteenth besides dentist? That's it?
I just exercised my Texas freedom.
You pee on something?
I just drove wherever I wanted to drive. Dared the cops to stop me. Threw a few middle fingers out the window. That's it.
Okay.
And I got home safely.
I went to a Juneteenth celebration party. It was actually one of the saddest things I've ever been to. I got a lot of experience this past weekend. So I went to a Juneteenth celebration party, and I don't think I've ever seen a sadder combination than black and boring. Because, oh my God, I went in here I thought it was gonna be, people dancing, have a good time. The performers were good, and they were singing all the songs people like, and it looked like the food was nice. I didn't get any food because I didn't want to eat, but and they had drinks and stuff, and everybody just like stood around and looked at each other. And I got there late because it's a Juneteenth thing. It's the whole theme.
You're required
Black people
to be late.
Black people are late. We got freed late. It started at 1. It started at 12, so I got there at 2.
Should have got there.
Should have gotten there.
Late.
Should have gotten there even later because people were still trickling in and stuff, and people were coming, but no one was doing anything. Everybody was looking at each other. I think there were too many girls too, because there weren't the girl to guy ratio was maybe like 70 to 7 to 3. But most of the guys were with the girl already, so everybody was standing and looking in the corner, and it was just sad. It's just a sad day. And the performers were performing their hearts out. They're like, "Come on, people, we gotta celebrate. Let's do it!" And this man singing songs from Joe and Beyonce and John Legend, and like there's like one guy in the middle, and it's not a big place, but it's not a small place. It's like a concert hall place. And there's one guy like recording and dancing, and everybody's just looking and nothing. And then so I ended up later going to the exact same place for a different event, which was more diverse in that it wasn't mostly aimed at Black people. It was an EDM concert. With some guy who's apparently famous. I don't know. To me, all DJs look the same. They're men mid 30s to 50s who like to play music, and and the whole crowd were Zoomer Doomers, and maybe there are a couple older people, but mostly I'd say 90% were Zoomer Doomers. And I was just shocked because all the music he was playing was the same music I listened to when I was 20. And like, what are they listening to now? Doesn't matter. He's playing all that stuff, and they were loving it. When they got to Aha and Take Me, people ran into the building to go dance. You could hear it out. I don't know why they didn't dance where they were, but they ran in to go dance to the song that he only played for maybe 30 seconds, and then he'd play like Killers and other stuff or whatever, and
it was an oldie but goodie,
I guess. But it's like it's an EDM concert thing, right? And he's playing some EDM stuff, but it felt more housey, and it was a little older, some of the stuff, and some stuff wasn't old, but it wasn't there. I didn't hear anything new. And then I walked out of the place, and some guy gave me Raekwon tickets for next week. He's like, thanks for coming, man. I'm like, yeah. He's like, you like Wu-Tang? Like, who doesn't like Wu-Tang? He's like, here you go. And he's just he like pulled out of his pants, not even his pockets. He's reaching his pants. Got this big block of tickets. He had to have like 100 tickets in this rubber band. And he gave like, next week, Raekwon, man. I'm like, thanks. I appreciate this. So I'm seeing Raekwon next week. I had to sit through 2 horrible events. Well, one was horrible. One was I didn't know how to feel, but I had to sit through 2 events to You don't know Raekwon? Wow.
It's okay.
You know Wu-Tang.
I know
the clan.
Who doesn't know Wu-Tang?
Okay. Well, he's okay. Well, I guess it's like, okay, that's fine. You don't know Raekwon, but that's okay. You know Wu-Tang. So yeah, that was my Juneteenth experience. Not on the 10th, but close enough. Today, no movie review, or do we have a movie review?
I saw a movie.
Okay, no. So that's a no, because
but it was interesting. I don't want to talk about who wrote it, who did that, but I do want to say that I saw a surprising movie. You don't have to play the music. We can just chat.
I wasn't going to.
Okay. But, grandson in town, we have to see childlike movies, right? So, of course, he already saw this movie. I guess he just wanted to share it with us.
He already saw it?
He already saw it. This
So
was
why?
the second time. Well, what I did, the movie is In and Out, too. And I never saw In and Out to begin with. So
Mom, it's not In and Out. Jesus Christ.
Is Up and Down?
I was going to say, did they make another burger chain? I want to try In and Out too.
What is it?
Inside Out.
Whatever.
I don't know. I thought you watched the movie, so you would have known that.
Well, they don't say it
I
like
don't
throughout
pay
the movie.
attention to the title.
They only show it to you several times before
We're
you walk in, and there's a
Inside
title
Out.
screen like every other movie.
I got most of it right.
Anyway, what happened?
In and Out. Anyway, so we were going to see that or Bad Boys, which, I take issue with, all that violence. But anyway, I watched Inside Out 1. Well, the first one. And I got so intrigued that I said, yeah, let's see that Inside Out 2. Well, the Bad Boy thing's going to wait. So we saw it.
I bet you regretted that decision.
I'm so no. I really enjoyed both movies. I actually enjoyed 2 even better because they introduced more emotions, and it's really not Disney. It's for adults too. It's not just for children because they do teach you lessons. They remind you of things and. It's really interesting because at first when I watched Inside Out 1, I was like, until I got further into the story. And then I kind of said, okay, this is kind of cool. But Inside Out 2, it brings in puberty, anxiety, envy. It brings in all these additional emotions, embarrassment. And it just really was good. I enjoyed it. I laughed, I cried, and I hope they don't have a 3. There's no point to it. But it does kind of explain some things, why we feel certain ways and all that. So it was nice. I enjoyed it. And I had to think about it, core memories that we have and what makes us a person and all that. They did an excellent job, I think. I don't know if kids understand all that crap.
No, kids are subhuman, so it takes a while.
They don't understand that. These are really for adults, and
Mom, wow, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard. Anyway,
well,
continue.
the cartoon part is for the kids, And I think
I
they're
don't know.
trying
If this is what's for adults, I think all adults might have had a lobotomy about 10 years ago. But continue.
Well, thank you for that compliment, son. It helped me to understand you a little better.
Yeah, I'm not a teenager. I'm 28 years old.
Okay, that was it. I'm glad I didn't make it a movie to review.
I saw a movie that I recommend no one watch. I know, recently we've had this upcomings in horror and different styles of horror, and there's so many horror things, and horror doesn't have to be just slasher stuff or saw stuff, gore doesn't have to be gore porn or anything. But at some point, I get mystery and darkness and things is very important to a horror, the sense of horror, but some of these guys just are really bad at writing stories. Some of these horror movies just have stuff happen and you watch stuff happen, but nothing happens. You just watch. You have a beginning, a premise, and how it's gonna end, and then you just throw a bunch of stuff in there. And the movie I watched was Seedlings. Don't watch the movie. It's just
Seedlings.
Seedlings.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna ruin the movie. But I'm going to say so little, it doesn't matter. It's going to ruin the movie.
Which movie is this again?
Seedlings, like little seeds.
Never
Seedlings.
heard of it. That's crazy.
I think it's got ratings that are nice or whatever, but It's on, I don't know, Hulu, Prime, something. A guy. The movie starts out really interesting, and the premise seems kind of interesting, but there's no story. There's just a premise. It starts out with a baby, like a baby, naked baby, walking through a desert, chewing on a thumb, like a human thumb, and sucking that meat out of it. That's what it's doing, and you're like, okay, let's see what he got for me. And the guy stumbles upon some teenager, and it's like, a desert, like Arizona or California, a deserty place. And the kid is alone and super dirty, and the guy's like, where's your parents? And the kid's like, this way. I can't find them. I'm lost. I think they're this way. But you think like, oh, the kid's tricking the guy, right? But you don't have to think that, because it's the clearest thing. The kid has no interest in anything. The guy's like, oh my God, kid, where are your parents? And he's like, they're lost. And I'm lost too. And like, okay, let's go this way to my car, and I'll get on the phone and call. Like, they went this way, and the kid runs off a different direction. The guy's like, don't go that way. There's no cell phone reception. It's so dangerous and hot, and there's no caves or anything to protect us. I'm going to follow you. And the kid's like, and then the kid like kicks him off a cliff or some shit. It's ridiculous. Okay, the guy ends up in a. I don't know, in the last 4 or 5 years for sure. Probably it looked the way it's shot.
2013.
Okay, maybe it's bad. Anyway, guy ends up in a hole with the woman. Not like he got kicked in a hole. He climbed down into this giant cavernous hole in the desert with a single house with a woman singing. And was like, oh yeah, this is my Dark Souls adventure. I'm going to go down there. He goes down there. Of course, they kick the ladders down. They trap him down there forever, and he's never going to escape. And he's trusting this woman who won't answer a single question he says. And of course, you know how the movie ends, okay? It is the worst. It is, and you're just watching this like, what's going to happen? Nothing happens. Okay, where's it going to progress? Nothing progress. What am I going to learn about these people? Nothing. They speak like some Slavic language or something. This is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Waste of time. Never watch that movie. And whoever made it, you should be ashamed of yourself that you wasted someone's money to make that movie, because nothing happened in the movie. You could have literally written a short story, put the text on the screen, and then use a voiceover and put it in a 6-minute video on YouTube, and it would have been way more suitable for whatever you're trying to do. It is one of the worst things I've ever seen. Anyway, all right, Biko, any movie for you?
Movie? No, I have not watched. Not a movie. I've been watching a lot of Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's one of the greatest shows of all time. Besides that, though, not too much. Been trying to catch up on anime and stuff like that. My wife has been drilling my brain with Bravo shows and 90 Day Fiance, so that's like half of my time taken up. But as far as games and stuff, I'm almost done with Hunt Down. I'm gonna start Elden Ring again. I'm gonna start playing that again because the DLC came out.
You're gonna start over? He's gonna
people. I think I'm gonna start over because I don't care. Like my save's a couple years old. I don't give a shit. Why?
Okay. Well, I'd say if you start over and you're trying to play the DLC, it's gonna take you a while because the DLC.
I am indeed not trying to play the DLC. I mean, I can go play the DLC now, but like, I don't think I'll give a shit because it's been 2 or 3 years since I played the game, and I never even finished that in the first place. I think I only killed one of the bosses you need to fight the DLC anyway. I don't think I've killed Mog, and if I did, I don't remember it, which says a lot.
Cool.
So, yeah, I don't know.
You probably haven't.
Yeah, I don't know. I respect Elden Ring for what it is, but I got to try again because where I got to, I just had no motivation to keep playing because it just didn't appeal to me anymore. But yeah, I'm gonna try to get back into that this week. And dang, what else? Oh yeah, I went to fighting game local this week and got my ass handed to me in Tekken for 45 games, but that's fine. I'm learning how to play it. Every time I go to that same fight game night, I never get to play the game I actually want to play. Nobody plays Mortal Kombat. All the Street Fighter stuff's taken up. When I bring my setup, I can't plug it in anywhere, so I got to play Tekken, and then I just get them 4 mopped with me. So fingers crossed that I actually get to play something I want to play next time. But yeah, it's been It's been it. Just getting my ass handed to me in Tekken and attempting to finish a game at some point. And I'm gonna try Elden Ring again. I'll be back next week to see if I actually care or if I decided to just start with my old character or not. The thing is, I have no attachment to my old character. He's just some dude. I don't know what I have no idea what I was doing. There's no way for that the game helps you remember what you're doing if you take a few weeks off, by the way. So it's almost impossible to remember what's going on. So that's why I want to start over. True. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, it's stupid.
Well, I don't think it's stupid. I think it's just true. That's true.
Well, that's my thing about these Souls games that people don't talk about is like a lot of these people who only play Souls games, that's all they play. Like
that's not true.
A lot of people
I don't
who
think that's
play,
true.
yes, it is. I think it super is. I think these people who play these games like as long as they play them, that's all they play. And if they play anything else, they play something else for like less than 3 hours, and they just go right back to Souls games. Like I can go check my friends list on Steam right now. Everybody's playing that right now. They have 400 or 500 hours on Elden Ring, and then you look at every other game on their list, it's under 50 or 120 hours. They don't play anything else. So that's my thing about these games is they require you to like dedicate however much time and brain power you need to remember anything. And if you dare play another game in between, you're not gonna remember shit. There's not even like listen, I don't need a waypoint. I don't need that. I don't need a big blinking arrow. I don't need that. At least give me like an index or something that like says this is what you were doing. Like at least that. Then I can at least go. If I turn that game on right now, I have no fucking clue what's going on. I have no idea what's happening. So that's why I'm gonna start over.
Well, I tried playing the DLC, and so
they whoop your ass like it's been whooping everybody else's ass.
Okay, so I have played Elden Ring maybe like 6 months, like a good 6 months. I'm in there, and it's like I got potato fingers, man. I can't dodge anything. I forgot the weaknesses of all. So there's a boss you have. I'm on like New Game 2. I'm on New Game plus or something. Or I beat the game at least once, and I'm at the point where I can beat another game, but I just haven't done this, that, or the other. And they're like, I don't even know what. I'm probably in my second game where you are in your first game, as far as I don't know what's going on. And so yeah. I go down to, I know where the boss is you have to beat because I've opened it up, and I go down there to go fight him. And I'm really like, oh, I haven't been here in this playthrough. I get up there. I'm playing with Dan. He's like, no problem. We're gonna smoke this guy. I went in here. I had my blood blades. I stabbed myself in the gut 2 times, slit my throat, and then I went in there and I put my blood in his blood, and he exploded. No problem. Like, okay, yeah, it sounds good. It sounded a lot better than it actually was, because we went in there to beat this boss that I've probably beaten like 8 times. He's just demolishing me. He's demolishing Dan. We're dying. I mean, maximum 60 seconds we're lasted in the fight. I'm like, oh, okay. I forgot. I forgot.
How many people do you think bought the DLC and have not been able to access it yet, and they've just been playing the game trying to get back to where they were?
I'm sure. Well, if we're talking about like first time players who are like, okay, I want to do that, and then getting to Mog and doing that, because that area is kind of it's kind of a secret area, and it's kind of a side area. I mean, it's really important, but it's also, if you're just going through the game, you
just explained my problem with that game. By the way, why is it a secret area but it's required? That's stupid. That doesn't make any goddamn sense. It's not secret, but it has its own storyline that you'd have to follow that storyline to get there. It's not. Mm-hmm. There are some secret places, but it's not secret. It's not. It's just like, to get there, you'd have to do a certain storyline. And so if it's your first time playing and someone's like, you got to go to this place, you're like, I don't know how to get there. That's because there's a whole setup of stuff you have to do to get there. And then there's a boss there that, spoilers, is pretty hard, but the game kind of teases him for you a few times, so you kind of look for him or whatever. But when you get there, he's tough. He's kind of kicking my butt, but I also am like, I'm running around, I'm like, why am I so slow? I'm crouching. Why am I crouching? I don't know.
I don't know why I'm crouching. I don't remember where my items are. I don't remember where my, so I gotta sort stuff out and figure it out. I'll probably go in there later today, smash it out, start the DLC, and get going. But as of right now, I'm getting my butt kicked. I'm so high of a level too. Like it's new game plus.
I heard it doesn't matter what level you are. I heard it like the game kind of kicks your butt no matter what.
This game scales
but
better with your levels than any other Souls game to me.
Okay.
Like it'll always
the
be
DLC.
a
Like
challenge.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So we'll see. Also, we got the NAT type fixed. And I'm so happy. It's been 3 weeks, but we got the NAT type fixed.
What does that mean?
You don't remember NAT types? You remember in Xbox 360?
Oh yeah.
Changing that and going the. So Matt just got a new PlayStation 5. Everyone's super excited. Matt can finally play all these other games Dan and I play, and we're like, oh well.
Congratulations, Matt.
Dan and Christine were there last month, or 2 months ago now. It was last month. It was last month. They were there last month. They surprised them with their PlayStation 5, which was, guess how much it costs?
$700, $1,000,
$300, bruv. Because the
nice.
Japanese economy
Wait,
is in
what
toilet, baby.
What version was it though?
The newest.
What kind of PS5 was it?
The new
Did
kind.
it have a disc drive or no?
Yeah, it did.
Oh, okay.
Disc drive.
That's
it's slim, but it's a disc drive. It's got the disc drive.
You
and all
better
the
just
stuff.
remember he's got to be connected to the internet, or the disc drive ain't gonna work.
Whatever. I mean, it's 2024. Anyway, so they've got it set up, and they were calling me to help set up, but I was halfway across the world. But they got everything set up. Dan came back to America. We got online to play, and then we're like, okay, put your sign down, man. We're gonna rock some PlayStation 5 Elden Ring. And it just didn't happen. And like signs are writing, and then everyone's like, I'm seeing Dan's sign, Dan's seeing my sign, no one's seeing Matt's sign, Matt's not seeing our signs, and then people start distrusting people. Like, is Chevar really popping his finger? Is Dan's passcode correct? Is Matt's PlayStation even on? What's going on? No one knows what's going on. And then and then it just popped in my head, like, I've had problems like this before. Why? And it's like, network, internet, modem, NAT. And I'm like, Matt, go to your settings and look at your network type. And sure enough, he was type 3. Type 3. The worst type you could be, type 3. You might as well hang yourself, right?
I do that.
We hated this. It was horrible. And I was thinking, okay, because Matt doesn't have a computer. No one in Japan does. There's no computers over there. So like, how do you even like fix this? And then I thought, we called it a day, and I thought about it. Like, okay, next time we're on, he should be able to use his phone and get on his router, right? It should let you get on from the phone. And I'm like, iPhone's got to show you the IP address. It does. We got in, we did all the settings. We ran into a roadblock yesterday because I had to leave and go to my Juneteenth boring party. But we did it. All he needed to do was reset it, apparently, restart it, and then everything, it's back. It's Nat 1 now, I think. I think he's super open and free. So hopefully today we get to play and write down signs and jump into games. But yeah, that's Elden Ring. I wish I could say more about the DLC. Dan says it's great.
He's the only one who gets to play it now, right?
He's the only one who gets to play it for the moment. I mean, maybe if Dan... So Matt is like One Punch Man in terms of his strength in the game. I think he's on new game. He's got to be on new game like 3. Or he's beaten it. He's gotten every item so many times. He's beaten every part of it every time so many times. He's done like every quest. He's got all the weapons, and he knows, like, okay, I want this kind of build. I can do this. He's got it down, right? If you invite Matt into a game, he's gonna say, watch this, and he's gonna kunai it or something, and it's gonna die at some point. All right, so maybe if we get him in there, he can help get past Moog. I've beaten Moog like 8 times. I helped him beat Moog. Like I helped Dan beat Moog. We've all beaten Moog like so many times. It's just he killed me this time. Well, Elden Ring DLC. I think it's good. Maybe we'll figure it out. Okay, it's that time of this year, the day where we go over the big newses of the week. So it is summertime, which means it's the time where everyone puts out their big show thing to show you what's coming out. So Xbox had theirs, PlayStation had theirs, and you know who's next out of the big three, because there are only 3.
Nintendo.
The Nintendos. What year, Mom? How old is Nintendo?
135 years old.
Did you make that up?
I'm not too sure about that one.
I think she's right.
That's the lie you told on the last show.
It's not a lie. It's true. It's true. And you got the question wrong, and you lost points.
35 years old.
Okay, thank you. 1889, I think it was. Yeah. So Nintendo had a thing where they showed their Nintendo stuff coming out. Biko, tell me about this. Why is everyone saying that the Switch is going out with a bang? To me, that sounds like everyone knows absolutely for sure that the next Nintendo thing, it might not even be a Switch 2. It might be, they switch it up on us all the time.
Well, Nintendo has pretty much announced that that their next console is ready. Like not ready, but they're gonna start talking about it soon. So the implication is that all of these games are probably going to be the last round of Switch games. I don't think that's accurate.
I don't think so.
Nintendo has never been one to just abandon the console that came before. I don't think I don't think people know what they're talking about. They're not done with the Switch yet.
Well, I don't.
They are coming out with a new. They are coming out with a new console. They've said as much. Like we don't know if it's going to be the Switch 2. What's up?
Nintendo always comes out with a new console when the old console sales and popularity start declining. Like that's what happened with the SNES. That's what happened with the N64. It's what happened with the dual screen. What's it called? The DS and the 3. Like it's always like wait till that slope starts sloping down, and then they do it. Right now, as far as I can tell, the Switch is still going up. I mean, they're still putting out these games that are coming out. They still got a lot of hype behind stuff coming out. I don't see it being soon. I mean, it'll happen. We'll get.
I only say that because they said it, right? They're gonna probably announce it next year. I don't know if it's coming out next year, but they're gonna announce a console.
How long has it been?
I think they're gonna announce. It's been 7 years, dude. Like the Switch came out in 2017. It's been a long time. So it's about time to release a new console. So people's whole thing is like they think it's gonna be a Switch 2, which would be nice, but Nintendo's not exactly one for backwards compatibility. Better specs. I really feel like that's all people want from a new Switch would be better specs. Just things run better on it. I agree. I don't think that they're getting rid of the Switch yet. They might even make a new model of it instead of a new console. I think it's kind of funny that people do think that they're moving on from the Switch after this, especially because Nintendo is very open about the fact that when they're ready to sunset a console, they say it. They say we are done with this console. They said it with the Wii U. They said it with the Wii. They said it with all that stuff. The Wii also, by the way, still had a bunch of games coming out when the Wii U came out. So I don't know why people think that the Switch is over. The Switch is not done yet. Another reason people are saying this is because these games that are coming out will probably run like shit. I'm not trying to be mean either. Like, at least the Nintendo specific ones will probably run good. Like, there's a new Mario and Luigi game announced at the Nintendo Direct. There's also a new Legend of Zelda where you actually play as Zelda announced at the Direct. Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom and Mario and Luigi Brothership. Those games, right, they're probably optimized for Switch. They'll probably run fine. Metroid Prime 4 is the one people were worried about, which is also a Nintendo game, right? But like people were kind of speculating like, oh, maybe this will be cross-release for Switch and their next console or blah, blah, blah. I don't know where they're getting that from. I don't think that's... The implication is that they think the trailer looks too good for the Switch, which doesn't make any sense to me because the trailer looks just like the remastered Metroid game that just came out last year.
Exactly. That's what I thought.
Yeah,
I thought
it looks great and it looks fantastic. I think it looks really good especially for a Switch game. I think it looks.
I thought
great.
As far as looking at the trailer, like it looked good. I'm not saying it looked bad, but it didn't look like. I've seen a Switch. I've played a Switch. It didn't look like, oh, a Switch can't handle this. Like,
I feel like people are just kind of. I feel like people don't know what they're talking about half the time when it comes to graphics. Especially because there are people even from Digital Foundry being like, yeah, this, I don't know why you guys don't think this is a Switch game. Like, this looks like a Switch game to us just from like a trailer. Like, I don't know why you guys think this is like much better looking, right? And it's not. It was less than 1080p. It's probably going to run somewhere around like 744p or some shit like that. So, you know, I don't really get why people think that like the Switch can't handle it. But out with a bang is funny. I think that the better thing to say here is that the Switch has a really solid catalog, and it has for a while, and they're just adding to it. A lot of games that people wanted are on here. Like, for instance, the Zelda game where you play as Zelda, people have wanted that for decades, right? And we finally got it. Mario and Luigi, very popular series. That's why people were so excited about this new one. Metroid Prime 4 has been in limbo for who God knows how long, at least a decade. And sure enough, we actually know that it's coming out next year, and we actually get gameplay for the first time ever, which is good. So I get people being excited. I don't know why people think this is the end of the Switch, because while we may not get like gigantic, we may not get like, let's say like people are stupid so they think this will happen, like Super Mario Odyssey 2. There will never be an Odyssey 2, right? But like because we're not getting stuff like that, people think that like, oh, they're sunsetting the Switch. I think that this is the kind of the period that they had with the 3DS, where they start releasing like slightly smaller games after this. So I think after these big games come out, like they'll have a few more like solid indies. It is about that time though to see when the last Nintendo game released on the console will be, because when that happens, that's kind of when we can see when the sunsetting is happening. We don't know that yet though. So I think it's interesting people thought that.
I'm thinking 2027 Switch 2. I know everyone's thinking next year, 2027.
I think 2026. I think 2026 is Switch 2. I think people will be kind of laughing at the Switch next year, even though it'll be selling like fucking hotcakes, and the games will be pretty good. Because I enjoy the Switch. I think the Switch is great. I think it does have great games. My only gripe with it is that the battery life is shit, and sometimes games that aren't made by Nintendo do not run very well, which is annoying. It is annoying, but I do think it's a solid console. As far as like pure games go, it's great. It has great games. As far as like a full-on console, I don't think it. I think it was time to replace the thing several years ago. But that's just me as a consumer.
You know what they should have done?
Yeah.
Metroid 4. After like year 6 of it not being a thing people could play, it just went to like id Software and been like, hey, you want to make Metroid? You want to make Doom, but Metroid? Because that's what we need right now. I mean, the trailer looked good. It looked,
I think people
looked like it looked like Metroid, but like I don't know. Like it looked like Metroid.
That would be
it looked good.
Completely misunderstanding the audience.
I don't know. It's just when I play a shooter, like a first person, you have all these tools, and I'm looking for. I don't know. Maybe it's just the trailer. It didn't look like. I think
you misunderstand what Metroid is. So Metroid is not just a first person. It's not supposed to be that like okay.
I mean, regular Metroid Prime is challenging.
All I'm saying is you compared it to Doom. No,
I didn't compare.
Doom
it
is
to
about but let's slow down. Let me talk. You said you should get its software to make the next one Doomify it, right?
No,
Doom is a game where oh my god, let me talk. Doom is a game where you walk into a room and you kill a bunch of dudes, and then you go to the next room and you kill a bunch of dudes, and you go to the next room and you kill a bunch of dudes. Metroid Prime is not all about the shooting. It isn't. Like it flat out is not about the shooting. That's not what it's about. It never has been. The shooting is just like a small part of it. It's where the term Metroidvania comes from. I think the real term is like search action or something like that. But it's about finding different powers and using them to like solve the game like a puzzle. It's not about the combat. So I don't agree with that about the whole difficulty thing, because difficulty in combat is not really what the game is about. So I don't know how you can discern the difficulty from, a a trailer, especially with the first person ones. If you were talking about like Metroid Dread or something, because that one is a little bit more predicated on the combat, then maybe. But like this is not what, especially the first person Metroid games, this is not what they're about. They're not. They're in the first person perspective, but they're not quote unquote first person shooters. That's not the point.
I get that. Games. I'm not saying they need to be doomified, but I'm saying combat is still part of it. But the combat parts to me looked like, I don't know, Star Fox kind of.
I'm going to say one more time. The combat is not a very large part of the game. It does not matter like that. Like it really doesn't. I get what you're saying, but I think what you're saying is I want to play a different game, which is fine. But that's not.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the game has many facets. One facet is combat. Are you saying that combat is 1% of the game? No, it's not 1% of the game. It's not like you're going to shoot a total of 20 things through the... No, it's part of the game. So I like that facet. That's a facet that tickles my tingles. So I'd like that facet to be nice.
Well, the sad part is, Chevar, this is the 4th game in a series that has been running for 20-something years. So I don't think that they're going to pivot to make it more action-based.
20 of the years
that has never been really the focus of the series. So
20 of those
I understand
years
that you wanted to appeal to you as somebody. I get you wanting to appeal to you as somebody who does not have a Switch and will never buy one. But I feel like the core audience, that's not what we're looking for as far as what we want from a Metroid Prime game. Metroid Prime is not, like you said, the combat is easy. What do you want? Like dodge rolls? Do you want like stats? Like what do you want? How do you make combat more interesting? I don't get what you mean by that.
I want as much thought put into the puzzles and the new powers and the secrets put into the combat. That's all.
So have you played Super Metroid?
I don't know because I don't remember the name of Metroid titles. I just play them.
Okay, so never mind. You never played Super Metroid then, because you would remember which one was Super Metroid. Because Chevar, guess what console Super Metroid's on?
Tell me.
Are you kidding me?
No.
The Super Nintendo, Chevar. It's called Super Metroid.
That makes sense according to the name. Okay, great.
So here's the thing is like, I'm going to say this one more time. I think you're saying that you want this game to be something that it was never trying to be in the first place. The combat is fine. Nobody's looking to... Okay, and the reason I keep bringing up the Doom thing is it's literally what you said. You said they should go get id Software to Doomify it up. And like I said earlier, that would be completely misunderstanding the audience and would result in people being pissed. I feel like that would be taking it the same route that they took Metroid Other M, which is one of the most hated Metroid games of all time. They made that one super action oriented, and people fucking hate that game.
It's not bad because it's bad. It's bad because it's bad. It's not bad because the combat's good. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
No.
And that's all I'm saying. You know. I'm saying what I said.
I am seeing that. Yes, you want this to be a game that it is not. I do understand that.
Possibly we'll see when it comes out. They might have listened to me and taken 8 of those 10 years to make it like awesome. And
so Chevar wants this Japanese-made search action game to be Americanized and have more shooty combat that's more difficult for him. Because
what's Americanized about a gun?
The part of the game. What's Americanized about a gun? You said it already. Because here's the thing, Chevar.
You know, Japanese
once again, I'm gonna say it again. Yeah, and he had to make the shit in Minecraft to do it. Okay. So
we don't make guns here.
Here's the thing. Yes, we do. We make guns all over the country. Here's the thing.
Made one?
People 3D print guns in their house. Stop talking. So the thing is, right? It is a game where you are dropped into areas and then you try to find routes to other areas and find other things. And the biggest combat part is the bosses. That's it. The bosses are probably the most combat you'll see. And it's old school, still kind of like the SNES games, right? That's where you're looking for the combat. In between areas, that combat is not supposed to be like a thing that is super challenging because that's not the point. The bosses are what the combat is about in Metroid. Always has been, always will be.
Okay. I mean, I was just giving my opinion of what they should do. Okay. I got
Yeah,
it.
and remember, reader, this is somebody who does not own a Switch and does not plan on owning a Switch.
Well, if they don't make a good combat, why would I? I mean,
I don't know. Maybe the other 7 years worth of games they have on the thing, but what do I know?
Is it Doomified though?
I don't know. It was just kind of funny, also considering you haven't played the last like 3 Doom games. So
I played them in my mind. Okay, I got them, and that's all that matters. All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, good luck to Metroid. Are we on the number 1 yet? I don't even think we did it.
Well, yeah, done like the 3 of them. But...
Did we? Okay.
Well,
good.
number one was we talked about Metroid. So there's other games in this direct. So there are a couple of cool trailers in here. Stuff that people weren't really expecting. Mario and Luigi, which is a very popular series on the mobile Nintendo consoles, mostly the 3DS and the DS, got a sequel announced that is specifically for the Switch, Mario and Luigi Brothership. For people who don't know, Mario and Luigi, the series, is like an RPG. So it's like the RPG versions of the Mario games. This one comes with a brand new art style, but very similar gameplay. You know, some platforming, mostly just kind of walking around solving puzzles. But the combat is what keeps it unique, right? It's an RPG. It's an active RPG, right? Kind of like the Paper Mario game that just got re-released as well, right? So that one was good. I like the Mario and Luigi games. I actually played one of them earlier this year on a totally legal copy on my 3DS, so I really liked it. So I think that this is a welcome announcement, especially because people do want more Mario games, right? There's been a couple Mario games the last few years,
it's
right?
not like they're not.
So they're really I mean, but they're doing it smart because half of them are remakes of games that nobody actually played. Specifically like Super Mario RPG. A lot of people are too young to have played that in the first place. Same goes for Paper Mario. So this one is actually a new game. So that's the good thing. Here's my thing with
this Mario and Luigi. The subtitle, I'm just not digging it because here's the thing. Usually a Mario, not even just Mario, Nintendo's pretty good with like nice subtitles to sum up like gameplay and themes and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm. Jamboree.
Sure.
What did you say? Why did she just say jamboree?
I don't know, but I allow it and I appreciate it. Thank you.
They had a Super Mario Party Jamboree.
Yeah, but that's what it was. It was a jamboree.
That's right. A different thing. That's a different
game.
But
Mario and Luigi Brothership. Now, first of all, unless for some reason they are literally on a ship, and they kind of look like maybe they were, but look like they're in a different place. They are in a ship.
Dimension. There's this thing called a brothership that his brothership has been a part of this series since the beginning. So
they're on the ship.
Yes, that is what they use to navigate around.
Okay, then I'm fine.
So Mario and Luigi Brothership, right?
Because we have a word for that.
The brothership has been a part of the series for several games now. So people who know what's going on. I don't think that this is much different of a title than like Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. What does that mean? I don't know what that means.
No, this title is fine now that I know that there's a ship involved. When I was watching this, I didn't know that the ship was like a main part of the thing. I like because there's a word for this called brotherhood. We've already got a word for it. You can't make like relationship brother.
Yeah.
But there's already
brothership.
It's called watching the trailer.
I did watch the trailer. It did not appear clear to me that the ship was like a big part of what Mario and Luigi is. I've never played one of these games because I don't like 2 characters in my games. I'm a 1 character person.
Aren't they brothers?
Yes. I like my games with 1 character and 1 character only, or you have a character that kills other characters in the game. I do not like 2 characters in my game.
Selfish.
In Dark Souls, I kill all other characters as soon as I meet them because I don't like other characters in my game.
Fair. I mean, it's stupid, but fair.
Okay, well, I'm fine with this game. I give this game a thumbs up then. It was going to go in my trash bin, but the name makes sense now.
Yeah, I think that this game will be fun. I don't know. I do think it's cool that they're bringing a lot of these mobile series over to the Switch, right? Like we got our first console Pokemon games this generation in a long time. It's like the N64 with the Switch as well. So there's another one of those mobile series coming over. So it's cool. Shout out to Brothership. I'll probably be playing that one.
Okay.
And 3 times 1. What is it? 3! Yeah, that's a magic number.
All right, next up, we got The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Once again, a game that people have been asking for years. Not the specific game, but this concept. People want to play as Zelda in a Zelda game. Not play as Link. They want to play as Zelda in a Zelda game. And we got it finally. It's a brand new story where Link gets caught. We see it in the trailer. And then he kind of pitches Zelda something, and she has to go save him afterwards. First time for the series, this whole concept. I think Mario's done this a couple times, right? There's even a Peach game that came out recently. But what I like about it is that it's in the art style of the recently released Zelda's, well, not recently released, it was a few years ago, but Zelda's Link's Awakening, Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, which was the remake that came out on Switch, which is a remake of an old SNES game, which was also on, I think, the Game Boy Color as well. But yeah, they took that art style again, which I was very excited to see because I was worried we would never see that art style again. It's like you're looking like a play set or something, like you're looking like Legos or clay, like in motion, right? It's pretty cool. But I'm very glad to see this art style back. Very glad to see we're getting another Zelda game that isn't like a Breath of the Wild style thing, which we're not going to get one of those again. I don't think we're going to get another open world Zelda for at least a very long time. But this is a surprise release. Nobody was really expecting this at all, especially in this art style, especially the top-down thing. It seems to play completely differently too. She has her own wand that she can use to like spawn different items. It doesn't seem to be quite as combat-based as the other Zelda games are, much to Chevar's dislike. But no, much to his chagrin. So I'm really digging it. I think that it's my only worry about this is, boy, did Link's Awakening chug sometimes. That game was choppy as hell in some places. It's one of the only Switch games I think was poorly optimized. So I'm only hoping that this one, they kind of fix that. The developers really are hyping up the whole you can make anything anywhere thing. And I do like that this one is more like puzzle based rather than just let's throw Zelda into something to where she can just fight people. It also seems like they took some notes from The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, the last one that came out. So some of the stuff that Zelda can do is kind of from that. Like she can make enemies pop up and fight for her. She can connect things to other things. It's cool. I think it's a new fun direction for Zelda.
Yeah, I mean, people have been wanting it, so now they got it, and I'm sure they'll do it again if
people keep
successful.
melting.
I know she keeps melting people. It's crazy. Psychopath.
Legend of Zelda, that it's all about her. She finally gets a game.
Yeah, I do like that they're not doing, letting the damsels kind of run the show now. Because Peach got her second game earlier this year. I haven't played it yet, but I heard it was pretty good. So, it's all good stuff.
Well, I mean, she's always been the star of the show, and the game's named after her.
Yeah, but she's barely in it. Like, even in Tears of the Kingdom, she has a lot of parts in it, but she's barely in the game. Like, that's kind of how it goes for her most of the time, right?
Well, it's her legend.
All right, I see what you're doing here.
Oh, about her, the Legend of Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, all right. Well, great.
Where's that damn fourth Chaos Emerald?
Capcom.
Yeah.
Is still alive. They've been doing great. And I guess they've decided to actually make a game people ask for, or at least give people games they already bought a million times or spent multiple quarters on. Coming
Go ahead.
Later this year is the Marvel vs. Capcom collection. It's coming to PlayStation and Nintendo Switch. It was on the Nintendo announcement thing. I was really surprised.
First time this has ever been on a
Xbox.
Nintendo console. Yeah, the very first time it's on Nintendo console, and it's not coming to Xbox at all, which doesn't make any sense because the last fighting game collection was on Xbox. So it's an
But what
Xbox
is
owner. I don't
this?
as a non Xbox owner, I don't really care. But
Is it like a
So-
feud or something?
no,
I don't know.
So I'll explain it. So nobody knows why the Xbox thing, but the reason that Marvel vs. Capcom getting announced is a big deal is because we never thought that these games would ever get re-released again. The last time Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was playable was in 2013 before it was taken off the store permanently off of 360 and PS3. Since then, the only way to play it is to download it illegally or if I play it on Fightcade. And even then, there's all these different version differences. And let's be real, most people are not going to emulate a game to play it. I know emulation's cool. I do it all the time. But that's just not the way most people are going to play a game. Games are way easier when you just click on it or just press a button and it starts, right? So the reason we didn't think this was going to happen is because all the licensing and stuff around this stuff has been kind of wonky, especially as Marvel stuff has been moving around. X-Men hasn't been a part of the Marvel universe until very recently. And I feel like those things moving around kind of gave them the opportunity to do this, because before, X-Men and Marvel were separate entities. And as a result, the last Marvel vs. Capcom game suffered. There were no X-Men in it.
They weren't separate
Okay, explain.
entities. X-Men has always been a part of Marvel, but it's
Yes,
But
yes,
as far as licensing the characters outside of comic books, for the most part, over the last like 20 years, it's been owned by Fox. So that's why in the mid-teens, or when you got the last Marvel vs. Capcom, you don't have any X-Men characters because you'd have to pay Fox. And then there are characters that blend the line between X-Men and not X-Men, like, for example, Scarlet Witch or Quicksilver, which happen to be in Marvel movies, but Marvel movies can't put only X-Men. So there was no Wolverine, there's no Storms or Magnetos or anything like that until Disney got the rights back. And it's also why in the mid 2000s or 2010s, the X-Men were basically almost genocided in the comic books because they couldn't use them outside of the comic books. So as for marketing, they tried to like make other kind of X-Men type of things, like the new Miss Marvel, the Muslim woman, is one of those, right? That's what they were doing at first, at least. And so because of that, it's the same with the games. You couldn't get X-Men in games because it's not a Marvel thing as far as using them outside the comics. It's Fox has the right to do that. So you'd have to go to Fox, have them sign off on stuff, and nobody wanted to do that. Even for old games, to release them, you couldn't do it.
Right. Okay. Thank you for explaining that in depth, because I definitely wasn't going to do that, but that's definitely something people need to understand is like Fox had the rights to X-Men. Now Disney has the rights to X-Men. So these things are it's easier for these things to happen. And
Marvel
for people
has
who
the
don't
right to
know,
X-Men now.
Marvel, Disney, the same shit. So because Disney owns Marvel. So the thing is, right, like, this is why the last Marvel vs. Capcom game kind of sucked to a lot of people, is because the roster was really weird. There were no X-Men, and a big part of the old Marvel vs. Capcom games was the X-Men, specifically like Wolverine. So, actually, a YouTuber named Maximilian Dude and a few other people started a campaign a few years ago to quote unquote, bring back Marvel vs. Capcom 2 in some form or fashion. That's the one people like out of this collection, right? Like, there's a lot of games in this collection, which is cool. I'm going to list all of them in a second. But this was announced during the Nintendo Direct, which is another thing. People don't usually look for fighting game news in Nintendo Directs because Nintendo's not exactly the place you want to play fighting games if you're even halfway serious about them. But so this collection brings together all of the previous Marvel vs. Capcom games in that lineage, right? So there were games before Marvel vs. Capcom. There were games after Marvel vs. Capcom 1. So there is, I'm looking at the page right now, X-Men Children of the Atom, which is a X-Men only fighting game. And then there's Marvel Superheroes, which is a Marvel fighting game. And then we have X-Men versus Street Fighter, which combines some of those characters from that first game with some Street Fighter characters from Alpha. And then Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter, which is the same thing, but with Marvel heroes. Then we have Marvel vs. Capcom, where they bring all of the characters together from both sides, all Marvel, all Capcom, and then Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which is the massive game that has like a gigantic roster of Marvel characters and Capcom characters. For people who don't know Capcom characters, even though you listen to this podcast, it's kind of funny. There's people like Street Fighter characters, Darkstalker characters, some Resident Evil characters too. Like for instance, Jill is in these games. But yeah, it's 6 games in one collection. You can have training mode. You can switch in between them. You can go into matchmaking and have, people pick. You can go into matchmaking with all 6 games and just have the game, figure out which one you're going to be after that. And it also comes with The Punisher, which is a side-scrolling beat 'em up. Which the reason they're including it. Yeah, it's cool. They included it because it was the first game that Capcom and Marvel did together. So and online co-op is also supported for that one. So this is like I said, this is something people didn't expect because of all the licensing stuff, because the last Marvel vs. Capcom game didn't do very well. Up until this point, the only way to play Marvel vs. Capcom was to buy an expensive ass, like a super expensive original copy of the game, which would cost anywhere from like $100 to like $600, or to emulate it. Which once again, like I said, nobody's doing that shit. Nobody cares. Like nobody wants to emulate. So weirdly enough, though, it's not coming to Xbox, and we haven't really gotten an answer for that at all. And I don't know if we ever will get an answer, because I don't understand why. Because the last collection was on Xbox, the one that had all the Darkstalker games. So yeah, I don't really understand this, but I am happy for my fighting game people. A lot of old fucks are happy about this. Guys like Max Dude and Yipes. My biggest exposure to Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was when it was on the 360 store. So I'm excited. I haven't played it in like probably at least over a decade, honestly, way over a decade for me. Well, me and Chevar used to play Marvel vs. Capcom 1 all the time on the PS1. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. It'll be fun to play. I think, yeah, it'll be fun to play. I'm happy that it's coming out and that the games will be accessible to people. Again, I kind of don't like how the Marvel vs. Capcom community, to me, is kind of their own greatest enemy. When Infinite came out, yes, it looked horrible.
The gameplay is great, though. It really does play
that's
very
the
good.
thing.
It's a great game.
The gameplay is really good. Yes, it didn't have all the crazy characters, but they were adding Monster Hunter characters. They were doing what they could outside of the visuals to make the game what people wanted out of a Marvel vs. Capcom game. And like now there's this big mod coming out to make the game look better. But that's all it does, is make the game, for the most part, look better. And they're
adding some gameplay stuff too.
Sure, but that's not stuff that couldn't have come with patches, or you know what I mean? The biggest draw when you see people talk about the update is like changing the reason we didn't like this game. It's mostly the looks. And then when you think about, why is Marvel vs. Capcom dead? It's because of MVCI and people not buying MVCI and not supporting their own game just because it looked splotchy, like the art. Like that's kind of
okay. Like, I don't think that's entirely
it
fair.
is.
So no, it's not. So here's the thing: they completely changed the game. It wasn't 3v3 anymore. It was 2v2, which series hasn't been 2v2 since Marvel vs. Capcom 1, I think. Okay. So that was weird. That there was no reason to really do that. Yeah, like you said, the graphics were shit, and the roster was bad as well. Nobody liked the roster. It was not what people wanted. Like that's not. Like, sorry. I mean, okay, I feel like we're getting into the situation again with you where we talk about a game and you get mad that fans don't just eat whatever they're given.
It's not
people
about
didn't like the game, and that's okay that people didn't like the game. I think we're getting that territory again where like, well, the fans are their own worst enemy. No, the fans are not their own worst enemy. They told the developers what they want. They showed them what they want. The developers did not deliver, and as a result, what did they do? They went back and they play the old game more. That's how these things work. That's how these games have always worked. We've seen it with Street Fighter Cross Tekken. We've seen it with Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, We've seen it, and is on top of all that stuff, had the weird Soul Stone system that nobody really jived with. Like it was not the game people wanted. So all I gotta say is I disagree. I don't think that they're their own worst enemy. I think that the game bounced off of the audience. I think that that's just what happens sometimes. Sometimes you put money into something and it doesn't work out, especially when you don't have the right licenses to get these longtime characters that people love from the series, and you suddenly can't deliver on them. That sucks. Like I don't. So all that to say, I don't agree. I think that that's kind of putting all the onus on the people who were supposed to play the game, and not the fact that they played the game and they didn't like it. Like that's kind of what happened. They played the game and they were like, I don't like this, and then they moved on to something else.
Okay, but I also think you can't. That's fine, but I then don't think you can say like, why aren't they giving me another Marvel vs. Capcom? Because we're not at a point. I'll say it in a more. We're at a point in games where a lot can change between the release of a game and the final product of the game, and especially at the point that game came out. That game came out at a time where a lot of games were releasing in ways that they shouldn't have, but then were changed and fixed. It's just a bad point in gaming at the time. Okay.
This is a bad point for Capcom overall, by the way.
Sure. But when you think about today, how everyone complains that, it took so long for this collection to come out, and everyone says, yeah, we'll never get Marvel vs. Capcom again, or maybe it's dead, or this, that, and the other. Well, I don't know. I think you have to weigh your options. If you like this thing so much, you have to support it in certain ways. You can still criticize it or this, that, or the other.
I know a little bit more about the development of this game. Even the developers were not very happy with this game. It was rushed out the door. They didn't get to do the things the way they wanted it to do. That's why the mod is happening, is because there's a lot of locked content that they're unlocking because the developers didn't get to do it before it was released. So I once again, I disagree. I don't think that this is just like, and everybody loved it on the side that they were working on.
No, I didn't say
the people who made it didn't even like it.
I didn't say that.
Like, this game was kind of doomed before it even came out. So I don't like, once again, there were things that people liked about the game. They basically changed everything about it. And I think you're basically saying, well, if you like the game, you need to support it. And the thing is, Chevar, they didn't like the game, so they weren't going to support it.
Okay.
Round what?
Yeah, I would say, like, why is he so bad at that? Why does he like have the long pause and then does nothing? That's crazy.
Ho, ho, ho. I've got 5 good reasons for you to shut up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm pro-life, okay?
What does that mean?
I love my pregnant pauses. Okay. So we talked a little bit about Elden Ring. People are enjoying the DLC. It's hard, apparently. One day I'll play it.
People are review bombing it because it's too hard. Which, it's funny. Longtime Dark Souls fans are comparing it to when Dark Souls 2 came out, and people said that was too hard. So
grow up, guys.
Yeah, people just gotta grow up.
What did you want?
What
did you want? You want to release this DLC 3 years after the game comes out? Because it has been like 3 years, right? How long has it been since? It's been forever.
3 years.
They want
2.5 years, something like that.
2.5 years since this game came out, and you wanted to go and turn on your YouTube stream and stream it, the whole thing, in 3 hours and blast through a thing and like, just go shut up and play your game. It's hard. Yeah, it's hard. That's literally what it's on the front. It's on the cover that it's hard. That's what it means. DLC? Dang. Let's chat about how hard this is. That's what that stands for.
Yeah, I think it's funny. I think it's funny that, well, this is the most popular Souls game ever, right? So I feel like this is just people not knowing that Souls DLC is usually really goddamn hard for no reason. That's kind of just how the DLC
game
works.
Is hard.
Well, no, but the DLC is harder, like, by far. It usually is. That's kind of just how these games have.
Well, the actual problem is, get good. That's what I say. All right, get good.
Yeah.
All right. You see me complaining about Moog? No, because I know one day I'm going to walk in that room, I'm going to grab that controller, I'm going to ignore my wife for 3 hours, and I'm going to beat it. Okay?
It's not gonna take you 3 hours.
Let me rephrase that, actually. I'm going to beat the game. I'll just be specific. I'm gonna beat the boss that caused me problems. Okay? 3 hours for the boss. All right? And I'm gonna be fine. You know why? Because it's all mental. It's Elden Ring, Dark Souls, Bloodborne. It's all mentality. You either let the game get you or you get the game. That's how it works. And so I get out there and I get the game. I get the game got so bad that in order to make it fair, I don't play so that the enemies can live a little longer. And then I come back with potato fingers and they get a little chance to hit me and win. Because when I'm back to my full capabilities, middies, I destroy the game. That's what's gonna happen in this one too, and that's what that's their mentality should be for everybody out there playing anything with a ring or souls in it. Should be doing it like that, or just go like over level yourself, and then that works too.
So DLC
overleveling. Well, you can't
hard?
overlevel yourself.
DLC means, dang, let's chat about how hard the game is.
No, mom.
DLC
DLC is downloadable content. That's what it means.
I thought it meant darn little challenge.
Yeah, you know what? It might actually be that because they left off some of those other words. Maybe they shortened the acronym.
But it really means damn little chance of winning.
Yeah, that's also what DLC means. Yeah. So, that's what you bought for. You pre-ordered it, got your $800 statue. You know what I'm saying? Get in there, man. That's all I got to say about it.
I mean, hell, you paid, what is it, $50 for this DLC, $40 for the DLC?
I think it's 40.
I mean, you got what you wanted. So, they also added new hairstyles. They're actually black people hairstyles now. It took them like 2 years. They also made it, I think, the final boss of the game. You can ride your horse now, which apparently you couldn't before.
In the final boss?
The Elden Lord, I think, is what they call it. But yeah,
you can ride your horse? That makes it way easier.
From what people said, they said that it seems like a fight where you're supposed to be able to ride your horse. That's all I've seen people saying. So I don't know. I shout out to Elden Ring. I hope you guys know that you're not getting another Souls game for a long time after this, because this is basically a whole other game. So.
Don't need one. Yep. I played Bloodborne for like 11 years.
Because that's what y'all do. Y'all just play the same game for 10 years. Like, look, you just proved my point. Thank you, Chevar.
I mean, I played other stuff, but I played like Dark Souls and Demon Souls and Dark Souls 3.
Exactly.
Ring.
See, and I feel like I'm one of those people that once I've played like 3 of those games, I kind of get it. I'm kind of good. Like I don't know if I need to keep playing them. Well, because I kind of screwed myself over. I played Dark Souls 1, then I played Sekiro, then I played Dark Souls 2, then I played Dark Souls 3, and then I had Elden Ring come out, and then I was like, well, I'm kind of done already. I've played all this shit already. I'm good. So yeah.
Okay, you say something, man. All I gotta say is, get good, guys. Get good.
No, not 6. I said 7. Nobody's coming up with 6. Who works out in 6 minutes? You won't even get your heart going, not even a mouse on a wheel.
Ubisoft released an announcement that Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary Edition will launch later this month. Of course, that game already came out like a year ago. It was deleted. People laughed at them about it. I don't know what was going on there. Maybe someone just actually clicked the wrong draft or something. I gotta imagine that's what it was, right? How does I don't know. Does it make sense? Can anyone explain why they announced a game that had already come out?
I mean, it's a fuck up. That's all it is. Everything surrounding this, everything surrounding this game is a fuck up. I'm not gonna lie. I'm tired of hearing about Beyond Good and Evil. I've never played it. Now at this point, I don't want to play it. People don't know. This game came out in 2003, right? This remaster, for people who don't know, it leaked last year on accident through the same company, Ubisoft. They accidentally leaked an early version of it that people already played. But yeah, this is just a remaster of an old 2003 game, which, by the way, has already been released since 2003. So on all this is just a dark cloud over the fact that this game had a sequel announced in 2008 that has been re-announced 2 or 3 times at this point. It is way too much time for me to give a shit anymore. I'm sorry. Like I don't care. Ubisoft needs to put this game in the dirt or release the sequel, because this is getting actually just kind of pathetic at this point. We have heard about Beyond Good and Evil every year. People talk about this game like it is one of the greatest games of all time.
You're talking about it like
that's true.
All right. Tell us how you really feel.
I'm not talking about it like I've never played the game, and
that was like a minute, 90 straight seconds of trashing on this hard work that people worked on hard.
Yeah, this hard work they worked on 21 years ago.
Yeah, well, here, think about this, okay?
I was 7 when the first one came out. I have a wife now.
Good and Evil.
Okay, they need to stop.
Forget about that. Listen, do those little star fruit seed things? Do they like? I've been sniffing on this thing for like a week. Man, it makes me feel like.
What are you talking about?
You know the little star flower seed things. You know,
flower seeds
from Asia, like the South Asia parts of the world.
What is it called?
Star something.
Star fruit?
Nope, not a fruit. You can't eat it. We put it in tea and stuff.
Oh.
I got a whole box in the kitchen, but I can't remember what it's called.
Like star anise?
Yeah. Is that what it's called? Star anise?
No, anise.
No. All right.
I thought it was anise.
Anise. Maybe it's anise, but it's not.
I didn't say anise. I said anise. Anyway, you ever just take some and scratch a little bit and just sniff it for like hours? It's like
never
makes you feel like
not even a little bit.
It's all gonna be okay. Just you got a mustache, Biko. Just grind, like just take some, scratch out, just leave it in your mustache. Yeah, your day is gonna be way better. I think it just relaxes you, man. It's like chamomile of the powder scents.
Cannabis
right.
of the pet.
No. It doesn't make you high. They wouldn't sell this in grocery stores. Try it. Star anise. Just like take one of those little not the whole thing. They're big, you know. Like just pop off one of those little star twigs, you know, and just like just like scratch it a bit and sniff it. I'm doing it right now. It's great.
We hear you.
Mom, I'm gonna give you a piece because I'm actually digging this right now. Oh boy. The 7 button's not working right now. So number 7. Should we just?
Oh no.
Oh no. Can someone just do a impersonation of the 7 button?
You're fired. That's it.
Is that the one?
No, yeah, but that's not at the beginning.
I don't remember what it says anymore.
Well, the 6 one is the 6, not 7. And then the 7 is, it talks about the poem. Yeah.
This is 7. 7. Roses are red, violets are blue. We don't know what to say. And how about you?
I think my computer deleted the sound. I have to. Yeah, I gotta find it. Actually, here we go.
7's the key number here. Think about it. 7 elevens. Yeah. 7 dwarfs.
You hear that?
7, man. That's the number. 7 chipmunks twirling on a branch, eating lots of sunflowers on my uncle's ranch. You know that old children's tale from the sea? It's like you're dreaming about gorgonzola cheese when it's clearly brie time, baby. Step into my office. Why? Because you're fucking fired.
7. All right. So Kick, a platform made to be a more expressive,
Lawless Twitch.
free, lawless Twitch. Lawless is good. And two of their larger creators have been banned after allegedly soliciting and likely sleeping with an underage minor. Well, I guess all minors are underage.
Just a minor,
an underage person. And they've been apparently permanently banned, which I think is pretty rare for that platform. So we have Zerka, who's been a longtime idiot, and Heel Mike, which is have you watched anything that either of these people have done ever?
Never heard of him until this happened.
Okay. So Zerka is the quintessential like guy who knows nothing but has all the confidence in the world, and it's like you absolutely see how
described every Twitch streamer.
No. He is like exceptionally wild and stupid. He's just like really idiotic. Okay, it's like everything he does, you're like saying he's like that guy at the party that just keeps partying and like telling everyone, "Oh, let's do this thing." Like you're just gonna ruin your life and everyone around you, which clearly that's what he's done and doing. And the Heel Mike guy is just like, whenever you watch him talk or do something, it's like the biggest, scummiest dude on the planet. He leaves Twitch, goes to Kick, and like he does a stream of him getting blowjob from some OnlyFans girl, and all his streams he's bringing in these people into his mansion, and he's showing all these girls he's trying to have sex with, and then he takes pictures of them in bed, and he talks about how much cooler he is than everybody, and it's just like, if these people were in the real world, because when you're a streamer, you're kind of not, they would be people everyone would stay away from, because they're just trouble people. They're going to cause trouble in everyone's lives. If they weren't doing what they were doing now, they'd be working at like the back of a Target or homeless or something, right? So they supposedly unknowingly brought some 16-year-old girl to the mansion on their stream. They say they were set up by one of their friends who knew she was 16 but didn't tell them.
The girl looks 16, by the way.
All the girls they bring on there look 16.
Yeah, because they kept saying like, we didn't know, blah blah blah. She looks like she goes to high school.
And it's not just her; it's a group of teenagers, and so they'd go out on the street.
Like they're 16.
They'd go out to the street. They'd meet these girls either through their chats or DMs or something, or they just pick them up off the street and take them to the mansion, and do scummy things with them. Either way, Kick has banned them, like completely banned them, permanent ban, because I mean, yeah, it's likely illegal what they. Well, we don't know if they slept with them, but they probably did, because that's their whole persona thing, right? But Kick bans them permanently, which probably a good idea, but I think they're going to run into way more problems like this, because those were two of their biggest creators, and other people on the platform kind of do the same kind of like edgy stuff is what they want to call it. I don't think they're going to be able to sustain permanent bans on this many people over and over again. They've got to put in some kind of term of service to, like, it's always going to get worse, because these guys weren't this bad a year ago, but they were getting bad, and then they get worse and worse and worse, and it's just going to keep going.
Yeah, Kick is the fact that it was a reactionary platform. I mean, listen, all people really do on there is gamble, do things they probably should not be doing on live stream. That's why Drake is on there. He's a gambling addict. But yeah, a lot of people are on there just to do bad things. Like, that's kind of why they're there, because it's things that Twitch won't let them do.
If you go there, there's a lot of people just doing regular Twitch stuff.
It's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Well, those two guys got banned, okay? Outside of that, I think that's it for the news this week. You guys got any recommendations for people to do People watch?
Play Hunt Down, play Street Fighter 6. Damn, no, that's really it. Yeah, play Street Fighter 6. Play Bison, because he comes out this week.
Okay. Mom?
I do have a recommendation, and it's not for a movie, but actually for, what do you call those? After the
TV show?
Yeah, it has 6 episodes, and
Is it Man in Bucket?
it's the one I was watching.
Man in Bucket. Or
It's not Man in Bucket. Hold on.
Oh my god.
half quarter, half a cup of man.
It's a full man and or something like that. Here it is. Woo! A Man in Full. That's what it's called. So it's called A Man in Full. It stars one of Biko's favorite stars, Jeff Daniels.
I have no idea who that is.
Network. You used to like that show, Network.
You mean Newsroom? What is up with you today?
Newsroom. That's it. What's up with me? Okay. Tom Pelfrey, Sarah Jones, Diana Lang, Lucy Liu. There's a lot of stars in here. It's 6 episodes. I had to stay up and finish all of them last night. It was really exciting, and it just didn't finish.
Is it like done?
It's done. It has to be done. There's nothing else they can do.
Okay. So
it really is done.
You're disappointed with the ending?
Not with the ending. It's just it's like they skipped something or they spent too much time on something because it was like, oh, okay, here we go, here's the end. You know?
Okay.
It was one of those.
That's kind of how it feels like in 6 episodes. Like the last episode or 2, like it gets like really ramped up where it's like
they ramped it up too fast because I was really getting into it in the first episode. They really were like, pow, here we go. And it's like, oh, this is going to be fun. And you're in the ride, and then it's just like, okay, ride's over.
Okay. Well, I watched part of it. It was pretty interesting what I saw, so I'll pick it up. Yeah. I recommend everyone brush up your skills, get into Elden Ring. It's best to play when all the community's in there, so everyone's invading, everyone's co-oping. It's that's the time to do it. And what else can I recommend? I recommend don't watch Seedlings. Oh, God. Such a bad movie. Really bad. And Mom, are you gonna watch that horror movie I told you about?
Which one?
The ones like
I was gonna watch If.
Oh, I told you about it. I'm like, you should watch this. They say it's really good. And you're like, okay, I'll go watch that. And it's like in the theaters right now.
I'll have to listen to the last podcast and see.
Okay. Go watch that. I'm going to go watch Bad Boys or something, maybe.
Yeah, you'll enjoy it.
All right. Well, thanks for listening to the show. We should start like an actual Patreon so people can get the real full arguments, right? So we can.
Oh no.
People want to hear.
Yeah, you gotta cut like half of that one out. I mean, it was gibberish anyway. So.
Yes, it was.
Well, we need more of a newsroom type of. Too many talkings over each other's. You know, Mom's sitting there pleading for us to stop. I'm sitting here trying to finish a sentence while you're finishing a sentence while I'm finishing a sentence.
Greatest soldier.
We can try that. That you can say that. That's fine. But
well, at least it's just have a topic and not just go off the.
I mean, it was a topic.
Okay, I'll just get a timer. Whenever we get on a tangent, I got a tangent timer. Okay.
Yeah.
And then whoever gets the last word wins. That's it. So whoever gets the last word when that buzzer goes off is the winner. It doesn't matter what the arguments were.
Not a winner.
That's how we're gonna do it. Whoever gets the last word is the winner of that particular topic. Okay, on any tangent. All right. I'll get the button ready. It's gonna have a buzzer. Okay. Thanks for listening to the show. This has been a Super Chevy Bros Podcast. If you want to listen to the 30 minutes we cut out, send me an email. Maybe I'll make you pay me for it. Well, see you next time.
Bye.